Let's get started. So we're gonna talk today about vision and direction with God. And today we got a guest. Y'all can see we got a celebrity here to join me.
Yes, sir.
We got Ross with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Ross Gardner. I am an artist. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. I do music. I do photography, videography, film. Just very artistic, visionary. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. So first thing I want to do is I'm gonna go first, but I want to talk about our directions in our lives. For me, I came into college honestly not know what major I wanted to do. Well, before I came to college, I had been put in this major called computation modeling and data analytics, which is basically computer science on drugs. Uh, I was under the impression that it was going to be good for me because once you come out of college, most of those people they get six figures, and I love sports. Like in the group chats we always talk about sports. I love sports.
Oh,
And I thought I could take that into sports, which I could have, but there's just so much programming, so much coding, and I struggled with that. That was too much for me. There were people in that class that were doing coding like they knew the back of their hand. Like it was a foreign language to me. I was getting help, I was getting tutoring. And after 3 semesters, I just told myself I gotta get out of this. Cause at this point, I might end up failing as a whole. I'm end up wasting my parents' money, getting me in college and stuff. And it's gonna put me through a mental turmoil to go through 4 years and plus grad school of programming. So last year, when was it? Around November, I called my mom and I told her I needed to switch majors. And I knew she wasn't gonna like that because she was really supporting me being in computer science and stuff like that. She really wanted me to go down a STEM career path, but we were able to figure out a solution. And now I'm sports media analytics, kind of communications major. But at the time, I was struggling with the thought of, is this what God wants me to do? Am I making the wrong decision? I kept on having thoughts of, am I going to regret making this decision down the future? And I could say right now, I'm not feeling any regrets. But since then, I've always been asking myself, am I going to regret this? Am I going to regret this? And the biggest thing that worries me is with that previous major, I had six figures waiting for me once I graduate. And now I have like maybe 60K waiting for me when I graduate. So I'm always worried about the money because I know the way I was raised in a very bougie way. I was spoiled, got all the new stuff. Every time new 11s dropped, my mom would get me and my sister a pair. So I know if I'm gonna live my lifestyle, I gotta get some money.
mm-hmm.
And over the summer, even before the summer, my YouTube group Two for All Mafia, I came up with that idea. I don't think I see that as my primary. I never see content creating as my primary way in life. I see my college degree as my primary path in life right now. But me and my friends came up with Two for All Mafia. I really love that. Hope we do big things with that. Then I got this podcast, and I know God wants me to do this because one, I'm glorifying His kingdom. I'm spreading His word. I'm trying to help others learn about this. So I know this is something good, but thing I'm currently struggling with is this my future? I've been ignoring the I've realized I've been ignoring the possibility of being a content creator or being a podcaster, being a Christian influencer as being my main path in my future. And recently I've been seeing, it's hard to call them visions, but I've been seeing visions. Like I've been seeing visions of God telling me, you're going to be speaking in front of big crowds of people, influencing people to come to Christ. You're going to be doing this podcast, blowing up, getting a bunch of clout, making good money off this. This is your future. And I still have these doubts that maybe it's not, maybe this won't work out. But as time goes on, I keep progressing. So I know this is the path that God's got me on.
Yeah. I feel like the main thing, like you kind of said at the beginning of the story, like the main thing we confuse with God's vision and like what the world is going on around us is like we worry about what the world has to say because you said talking out like about your major, you was like, oh, everybody says like this is the job that gets 6 figures, this is the job that like, and that's not God's vision. That was everybody else telling you that, oh, coming out of college, you can do this job, make this amount of money and such. And so like I feel like when we really lock in on what God has for us, it's not gonna be the route that everybody's telling you to go. You know, it's gonna be a different route. And most of the time it's something that you never thought you would be doing. Like I know with music, I never thought I'd be doing that as my calling, you know. And we talked a little bit like this pod, like you never thought like or maybe I seen it was a post like you never thought you would be doing something like this, like because you really like a
Yeah,
reserved individual, like me too. And like
yeah,
I'm usually not like that, you know, speaking to people and like that's normally not me. But like when God has you called to do something, it's gonna be something that's outside your comfort zone and it's gonna be away from the path that the world is going towards. And so that's kind of like what happened with me too. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I always like every time I think about it, I think about my pastor because my pastor always talks about how growing up, he knew he wanted to be a preacher, and he became a licensed preacher at the age of 15, but he always talked about how he was shy, he was quiet, nobody really liked him, he was unpopular, people always doubting him, and now he's a pastor of a church of like 30,000 members
Mhm.
and one of the most globally respected men in the religious community. And
That's
I think about Moses too. Like I just thought about this today while I was getting my hair done. Like Moses in the Bible, God tells him he's going to be a leader. He's going to lead his people
yeah.
out of Egypt, and he's going to be a great leader of a great nation. And
Uh,
then his response
down
is
himself. He was down himself, yo.
exactly his response was, "I can't. I have speech issues. I get afraid when I speak in front of people."
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at him now. You look at what he did, the righteousness he gained.
Mm-hmm.
And you just look all throughout the Bible, you look at people that had troubled past, people that doubt
Everybody.
themselves. Literally, nobody in the Bible had a perfect past before they did their big work in
Mhm.
the Bible. So I
And
just
everybody
all
in the Bible thought it was too big to do by themselves. Like everybody in the Bible didn't think they
exactly,
was qualified enough to do it. Or like they
exactly.
seemed unqualified based on what we think. We would think they're unqualified, but God was like, "Nah, I chose you to do this
Mm-hmm,
because of your." God takes what your weaknesses are and makes them your biggest strengths, and that's gonna be your testimony through your vision or through
mm-hmm,
His vision, not your vision, through His vision and His
mm-hmm,
direction for you. Type B.
mm-hmm. I think one thing people don't utilize the most is patience. And I always preach to myself that I am patient and I feel like it. But in the big picture, I don't think I'm as patient as I am in the little picture. People want I remember I seen a clip of Shador talking to Dion about this. He's like, people want the microwave way of things. And if you want things to come quicker, you just gotta pray to God. But that was just a joke. Really, if you want all these good things to happen, it's gonna take time. Like
Yeah.
the way I've been thinking recently is I'm about to be a senior next year. I haven't had an internship yet. I really don't know what I want to do with my major. And I want this podcast to blow up. So I feel like I'm pressuring myself within now to like next summer to make a big move. But the reality is it may take about 5 years for me to get this stuff going.
I was thinking the
But
exact same thing. So like me and my mom was kind of talking, like she came down visited today. Like I'm also in the same boat. Senior years next year. I've been doing this music for about 3 years since COVID, 2023. So about three, almost 4 years. And I'm in my major, I'm an econ major. I haven't had no like internships yet. Like I don't really know like where I want to go after college. And I feel like we put this pressure on ourselves, but God always has the best timing. Like, you know, everything's gonna be revealed in due time. So I'm worried. I'm not worried, but at the same time, it's like, you know, everybody's patient until the rubber meets the road. And so like we always looking down that road, like, okay, God, what you gonna do? It's getting close. But then he's like, I got it. And so we just gotta trust in that, almost trusting his word. You know, we read the Bible, like every single promise he made, it came to fruition. You know, it just took time. And so like in due time, you know, everything will come to fruition. And that's what I just gotta keep telling myself when it comes to that.
I know my pastor always says when man is rejected, that means there's something better to come. And I apply that to myself with these internship applications. Like I keep on applying and applying and applying. And the thing when you get rejected from a job internship, they always say we're choosing somebody that's better qualifications. But me knowing me, I know I'm qualified, and
Mm.
whatever this other person has, whatever their resume may look like, they may just like they may look good, but I know
Yeah,
deep down I feel good and I know I'll do good. So like I just keep looking at these internships. I keep looking at like everybody else doing better than me, what I think is better than me. Like they may be
mhm.
making more money than me, they may have more success than me. And I don't get jealous for them. I feel real happy for them. Like one of my closest friends, I remember the beginning of the summer, it was our first time meeting up. We met up at the gym, first time in the summer, coming back from college. And I said, yo, what you got planned for the summer? He's like, I got an internship with FDIC. FDIC is like this big, really big banking company. I think like nationwide. I don't know exactly what they do, but I asked him how much you getting paid. He said 37K for two
For
months.
internship.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I was beyond happy for him. He went and got a new car too. Like now, I'm not gonna say who he is, like so nobody pocket watches him, but I'm just like that made me so happy for him.
Mm.
And like I look at that and I don't get jealous though. Like I just keep myself pushing. I'm just like, I know my time's gonna come, my chance to shine's gonna come, my big breakthrough's gonna come. But it just takes patience all in all.
And honestly, it's really hard to do that. It's hard to not to see somebody like that's your peer that you grew up with, or like somebody that you seen go through these stages and get to a point where it seems like they're doing better than you, or like seems like they're at a point where you want to be at in your career, and it's hard to not compare yourself. It's hard to not do that and like look at them like, oh, they're doing better than me. So like, how would you go about like a situation like that? I don't know.
But like I look at, let's say Elon Musk, one of the richest men ever. Many people go like, yo, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be as rich as Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, or anybody else that's like a billionaire. And I think, well, they have all this money, but are they happy? They got all this money, but are they depressed? I know me personally right now where I am, I'm happy. I love my life. I feel like everything's going great. I feel rich. I don't gotta have $1 billion in order to feel rich.
Mm.
Like I feel spiritually rich. I don't need those materialistic things to feel validated. Like if you look at Elon Musk, he gets backlash all the time for the decisions he makes. And I don't want to be known as a man that makes questionable decisions that might affect other people. While I may have to make those kind of decisions, I don't want that to be my reputation. Not that I also care about what my reputation is, to be honest with you, but there's more than the money that these people have. Your net worth doesn't define you. But as far as anybody else, if I know you and you get that type of money, you're doing financially better than me, you're having more career success than me, I'm never gonna be jealous. I'm always gonna be happy. Like my biggest goal in life is to support others and lift everybody up. Like I remember I was thinking if somebody asked me what would I do if I had $1 billion, what would I do with it? And I knew immediately I said I would take 500 million, keep it to myself, take 100 million and tithe it to my church. Because I don't know where my pastor got this from, where these pastors got it from, but they said whenever you tithe 10% of your money. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that honestly says well to me, because if you look at 10%, that's not, in my opinion, not that much of your money. So I would donate 100 million, tithe 100 million to my church. And then the 400 million, I'd invest in some sort of company that provides housing and whatever other financial needs to the homeless. I always tell myself I want to be rich so that I can live comfortably,
Yeah, put on for others type beat.
give to others, and give my family a comfortable life. I don't ever chase financial rewards for my sake. I chase it so that I can give it to others. Because
Mhm.
growing up, I always watched my parents invite my friends to my house, always buy a bunch of food for them,
Yeah.
take us places, take us to the movies. And I always like think like that's a lot of money. Like I'm talking about five, six of my friends always over every weekend. They paying for all this. And what do their parents give my parents in return?
Yeah.
Probably
I
nothing.
feel you. I feel you because I kind of grew up the same kind of way. Like, if all my friends came over, they'd be like, my mom would just be like, "Oh, what y'all all want for dinner? Like, all y'all want me to order some pizzas?" Like, and not to like compare, but sometimes I go over my friend's house and it wasn't the same, or like I go, and so
Mm,
like honestly, people say that when your parents make money, it makes you like kind of spoon fed, or it makes you like, I don't know. I just feel like you get a different perspective. I feel like people don't really see that. Like honestly, it kind of puts, I won't say it puts pressure on you, but kind of, to where it's like, I want to be able to do that for my kids and be able to, give to everybody like my parents gave to me, and just like it's kind of that feeling of like, I saw how you guys did it, I want to do it like how you guys did. And it necessarily don't make you spoon fed, but it can make you, it could, stuff like that can make you a harder worker. I feel like um people just need to embrace different backgrounds. Like somebody that's from a different background may say, "Oh, you spoon fed, you this, you that," and they think that seeing a small fraction of your life defines how you live, and they think that they know how you live just because they see a small fraction of your life. But honestly, do you really look into how that person, like, do you really discover that other person? I feel like it's more than just what you see on the surface. Are you really delving deep into it?
yeah, like I know a lot of my friends, they always go like, Nate, you're spoiled. Nate, your parents are rich. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I was spoiled. But I know nowadays, and my friends ask me about them food, I buy them food. Because
Mhm.
one, I know I'll make it back. And two, I'm not trying to see my friends starve. I'm not trying to see them like go hungry and starve themselves to death for the rest of their lives. So I'll always give them food. And that's something I took away from my parents. Like my parents always give my friends food. So I'm gonna give my friends food too. It's what we learned from our parents. And that's like you said about like the different backgrounds. Like people think if you came up coming from a poor family, then they got it hard than you. And realistically they do. But they really don't know the true character of you. They may not know, hey, maybe this person can help me because maybe you may be like, if you treat me wrong, bro, I'm not gonna give you food. I'm not gonna help you out.
Yeah, they think
Like,
because of your background that they know certain traits about you. Like, oh, since he did this, he's like this, this, and this. And that's not necessarily the case all the time. There are definitely people that are spoon fed and entitled. And like, that is 100% true. But like, to say that you know them and you know their characteristics based on where they come from and their background is untrue. And it's, yeah,
yeah,
untrue.
yeah. All right, I want to talk about like your direction towards music. You were you were one of the best DBs at your school. I'm assuming. I'm pretty sure you could
I
say that.
was best DB in the county, led the not the county, not the county. Shoot, the county too, but led the conference in interceptions and in pass deflections. Check out my highlights on Huddle Ross Gardner. Let me put that. I had to plug my fault.
So you got did you get a scholarship from your school to play
It
full time?
wasn't for D3. You can't get a scholarship, but
Oh, that's crazy.
basically, but kind of a scholarship. Like you can't get football scholarships at a D3 school, but
That's that's
basically
wild.
they give out, what they do is if your grades is good enough, they give you an academic scholarship, and they give you like basically a roster spot. So pretty much like a scholar, as much as a football scholarship as they can give.
All right. So you got to the football team, got to college, and then you said I want to go to music. And you've talked about how you knew you couldn't go like make it to league because you didn't have the body frame to be in the league, right?
Now I feel like if I really wanted to go to the league, I could have went to the league. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
All right, but either way, you put it down. You put football
Yeah.
away from music.
Mhm.
So what was that like? How did that decision come about?
Man, I remember so for D3, we went to college 2 weeks before everybody else, right? And basically those 2 weeks are just training camp. And so I remember the first day of training camp, the head coach, he was like, football is now your new job. And I was like, whoa. Like, I don't know what it was, or just about what he said and the way he said it, but that just stuck with me. And I was like, I don't know. Like, once he said that, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this anymore. Cause I had already started music, but like I was just now getting serious. And so I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is for me anymore, even though I love football. And so that was the first day of training camp. That was on a Monday. By Wednesday, I talked to my coach. I was like, yo, I don't think football is for me anymore. And, I talked to him man to man. No, I quit. But after I quit, I cried. I cried for like a week straight because, as when something's a part of your identity for so long, football was all through from since seventh grade. I've been playing football like all year. That was me. That was me. I was the football player. I was the good football player on the team. That's what people knew me as. And when your identity is taken away a little bit, it kind of hurts. And people don't really talk about that, the identity shift and when that hurts. And so I cried, I did, but I knew that that was what God wanted for me. And so I shifted to taking music like more serious. The time that I would be practicing for football, instead I was studying music, studying content creation, studying production and stuff like that. And yeah, and it's just all branched from there.
Do you ever wish you played football again?
Um, do I wish I played football again? I'll say I miss playing, but do I wish I played it again? No, because I wouldn't have been able to put all the effort into the game. I miss playing on, well, we played on Fridays in high school, but like I will be playing on Saturdays. I miss playing football, but like I didn't want to put the extra work in anymore. I didn't want to do the film sessions. I didn't have time for the workouts, I didn't have time for the practices and the 2-a-days and the 3 days and the conditioning and all the stuff that goes before that. And so it would dang near be just like a disrespect to the game of football and to myself if I just wasted my time like that and everybody else's time too. So I thought it was time.
Like, those TikToks where like people are like, oh, freshman's first day of training camp, and then like they're dead after like the first day.
That was low key me because they were sending us a bunch of workouts over the summer and I didn't do any of them, bro. I didn't do any of it.
Bro.
I knew when I was done.
So do you think if you did those workouts, you could at least made it through one day or at least a week?
Oh no, I made it. I made it through like the first couple of days, but like I was out of shape though. I was out of shape. I hadn't been to the gym all summer. But like when we started playing, doing one-on-ones and stuff in practice, I was cool. But like when it came to the conditioning and the lifting weights, I was like, I couldn't do that like that no more.
All right then. So you got Takeoff, blew up on TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the creation of Superstar Dreams. When did that start?
Creation of Superstar Dreams started immediately after I quit football. Um, yeah, I started writing that first semester of freshman year, Superstar Dreams. So the idea of that was basically like, so it. Do I want to go into that the large like deal of it? So it started off as an idea called the transformation plan, where I just wanted to like basically just transform my life. I didn't play football anymore, so like, how can I transform? How can I evolve? So it started off as a transformation plan, and that's what it was going to be called. And I wrote lyrics and stuff for that, songs and stuff for that, and so um that I just spent a lot of time alone with myself, and I feel like that's where the writing process really came, was just coming and spending a lot of time alone with myself, figuring out what I really wanted and what I really had, and I had Superstar Dreams. And so the creation of that was really just a lonely process almost. And so I remember I made the beats and the production and stuff for it, and then I would go to this practice room to record. And so it's four walls, and it's almost, I don't want to say it's almost like a prison cell, but it's almost like a prison cell. Like that room is so tiny, the practice rooms I would go into, and then I would just be in there all day just recording and recording and recording. And those are the days that like really made me like that mentality of just missing out on the parties, not going to the functions, not, seeing people, saying what's up to people, just going and locking in and recording. That's what Superstar Dreams is, just that focus, that drive. That's what I was really on when I made that. It was very focused energy.
So each song, all your songs that you write, they do sound like they're from your perspective. They sound heartfelt. Like these aren't just random words. These are words that someone has felt from emotions, experience, and they put them on paper and through a mic and out there on streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Where did all that motivation, where did the influence come for the songs on Superstar Dreams?
Honestly, it just came from my situation and my experience, on Shooting Star. No, that was on Superstar Dreams when I wrote Still All Alone, Shopping at Five Below, I'm broke. The nighttime never been so cold. I was shopping at Five Below at nighttime. It was cold outside. And, it just came from experience and like looking around in my environment. And honestly, it took time discovering myself and discovering my mind and discovering like what my situation was and how can I put that out for other people to see, to know that, it's okay to feel these types of ways if you have dreams like these, dreams like mine, and I just want to show people the real situation of it. Everybody talks about the lifestyle, the money, living out the dream. I'm living the dream, but nobody talks about, on Shooting Star without $1 in my wallet, just the dreams in my pocket, having nothing, starting from that. I just wanted it to be the real.
So after you released it, how did you feel about it?
Hmm. After I released, I remember when I released, it was midnight. My roommate wasn't in the room at the time, and I remember just putting on my headphones and just like listening to it, and just like it was one of the greatest feelings in the world because like you put so much time and so much effort. I started making that in August of 2021. I didn't release it until February 20, 2023. That's almost 2 years in the making, and it's only 7 songs, but like, you know, you gotta think at that time I'm still learning how to produce, I'm still learning how to write, learning. And so all the learning on top of that, in conjunction with, writing every lyric, writing every bar, putting every note together, editing all the videos, all the hard work, or like I think I cried. I think I cried when it came out because it was just such a feeling like, oh, I really did that. I made something from my mind that wasn't reality, and I made it into a real tangible thing. That's a feeling like no other.
I know me, me growing up, like in school, like let's say art class, teacher might ask us to do a certain assignment. I would have the perfect vision in my mind. The execution would be horrible.
Mm.
Like I may have an idea of the Eiffel Tower, but I put out the Eiffel Tower at which y'all's amusement park called Kings Island.
I was all right, Kings Island.
Y'all don't got that, do you?
What you nah? Our Kings Island,
Bro.
Ohio.
Yeah, that one. There's no Eiffel Tower there.
Not that I the drop tower.
Yeah, that. I said Eiffel Tower. That's crazy. Yeah, the drop tower. So even with my essays, well, I'm a good writer now. I've been getting real good at writing, but even with my writing, I would have visions of what I want my paper to look like, and it would be unorganized. And then I get to where I am now, this podcast, content creation, even though it's not doing good, everything I see in my head that I want to put out, like between each post, each story, each podcast, I've been able to turn that vision to reality. So did you ever struggle with turning a vision of a song into reality?
Um, I have, and it's something I'm kind of struggling with now, a little bit with the song that I'm creating now off my that's gonna be on my new album. Um, yeah, sometimes it is hard. Like I had a song on Superstar Dreams. I was supposed to be on Superstar Dreams, but it didn't end up being. And so like some songs aren't meant to be like some things aren't meant to be, you know, turned into a reality. But the things that would really that are really supposed to be there, that are really supposed to be there, I just try hard to write it down, to get it out of my brain and onto something tangible, like, writing out on a piece of paper. I feel like that's the easiest way you can at least articulate your vision. And then from there, you branch on. And so, yeah, I feel like when I do have trouble, I write it down, and that gives me a lot of clarity.
Since you mentioned your new album, let's go ahead and move on to Summer Haze.
You said
Where
what?
did I
My
said since you mentioned your new album, let's go into Summer Haze, which is the EP you just dropped.
hmm
I got some inside information about that, but go ahead and talk about the creation of that, the inspiration,
The
and
creation.
how that's beginning of your 4-part story.
Okay, yeah, I can talk about that. Um, so Summer Haze, I had the idea for that the summer um after my freshman year. So I wrote Summer Haze like 2 years ago, 1 year ago. Yeah, I wrote Summer Haze, the song Summer Haze 1 year ago. I've been sitting on those beats for a minute. I sat on the Summer Haze beat, the Changes beat, and Promises No Time. I sat on those beats for like 2 to 3 years. And I had the vision for it when on freshman year summer. And that's another thing with like vision. You may have a vision one in a year, and it may take a couple years to come to fruition. And that's how Summer Haze was. And the idea behind that was kind of just like nothing's the same no more. The things that you used to do, the things that you used to be, the people you used to be with aren't the same anymore. And I kind of realized that once I came back from college after my freshman year. I'm like, whoa, this isn't the same type of feeling, the same type of vibe. It seems like everything's moving, everything's out of place. And so that's what that is. And it's the beginning of my 4-part album series. Yeah.
So we got the love. Ooh, can I name drop that?
You can name drop. You can name drop.
So we got the love story. Yeah, because you did say in the end of
Yeah, I said in the Promises No Time.
you said it in the song.
Yeah.
I got inside information on that. I got inside information on that too. So let's tell the story about the love story.
What is love? I feel like I'm answering that question. Or I'm not answering the question, but I'm asking the question and I'm proposing more questions to it. Is love just attachment? Is love the vulnerabilities? Is love just the lust? Is love just, you know, the feelings that we have, when I like somebody, when the feelings that I have when I see somebody that's attractive? Is it just the feelings or is it something more? And I feel like in the love story, I'm answering that while describing, I'm going through like a story, the love story. I'm going through like a story from the beginning of the album to the end of the album. You're not going to have the same feeling. It's going to make you think, it's going to make you question what you actually know and what you actually think. And yeah, and I'm working on some stuff for that. I'm collaborating with a few people.
So in my episode about music, I mentioned how I admire those artists that tell their life story, and I don't feel like that's something that's necessarily a bad thing toward God's kingdom. I think it's something important that people share their viewpoints in the world and what they've
Yeah.
experienced to other people through music. Would you say that's what you're doing with this four-part series of albums?
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like your story is your testimony. If you don't tell your story, that's the whole point of us living. That's the whole point of God bringing you to His vision. He wants you to tell your story. He wants you to go through the pain of your purpose, and then you tell that for people so they can be inspired. Every book in the Bible is somebody's story. So if you're not telling your story, then honestly, I won't say you're kind of not worshiping God in that sense, but almost is what it's like. And so, yeah, I'm kind of just telling my story, my love story, what I gained from my scars and love, and this 4-part album series kind of tells the story of like, so Summer Haze was kind of about reflecting on love and what it used to be and who I used to be with. And then the love story is kind of like, what is love? I'm questioning that. And then in the next album, I won't mention the name of it yet. The third album, we're gonna kind of time travel backwards into how I gain that perspective and point of view. And in the fourth one, I'm gonna talk about what love is, what it actually should be. And so it's kind of like a progression like that.
So you say collaborating. What kind of collaborations are we talking about? We talking about features, production,
Fe-
writing.
Features, production, writing, scripts, poetry, um, movies, music videos, visuals, all that.
All right.
Yeah. We trying to up it. We trying to up it.
So if all that music, poetry, does that go with RG Productions?
Yeah.
So how did that come to be? Talk about that.
So RG Productions is just something I used to say in the basement all the time when we was playing the game. So like I remember one time I made my pro-am team on 2K and then I put RG Productions on the side, like just RG Productions. And so that really didn't come to be starting to get serious until I started doing photography. I started doing photography and then that was my tag, like, RG Productions, RG Productions. And so I ended up making an Instagram for it because people would ask me for photography, and then I ended up making it a business, RG Productions LLC certified.
So 10 years from now, obviously you see yourself as the biggest star in the world.
Absolutely.
Other than that, what do you see Ross Gardner doing in 10 years?
10 years. I am 20. I will be 30. Um, I'm still gonna be making music, but I'm gonna be on the am I gonna be on the downswing by then? I got how many more albums to go? One, two, three, four, five, six. I got six more albums to go before, because I have the vision for all my albums. I have six more albums to go. So in 30 years, I think I should be making my second to last album. And so I kind of want to be on the downswing of things, like settling in. I want to shift eventually into film production and movie production and stuff, RG Productions taking over.
So you're saying you'll somewhat, would you say you'll retire from music or will you kind of like put it aside? Because who am I thinking of? Let's say like 50 Cent. 50
Yeah.
Cent, he has I don't even know how many albums he has. He got a few albums, but he's known for Get Rich, Die Trying. And now he has power. He's a film producer, he's an actor.
And he making books too. I just read his
And
book. He got a really nice book, but yeah.
yeah, so you want to be something like 50 Cent.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like you can never truly retire from music. Like if you're a musician, the music is always gonna flow through you. It's always gonna do that. But I feel like, yeah, kind of like what you said, it's gonna take like kind of a back burner in my head, and it's really gonna be a different calling now. Because you never stay on the same thing your whole life, ever.
Mhm.
So yeah.
What kind of films do you see yourself making?
Honestly, I was thinking this earlier. What type of films do I want to make? I'll manifest it now. I'll just say it. I kind of want to do. I was thinking this earlier. I kind of want to do like, because the Bible is an interesting book. Like, if you actually read it, it's very interesting. A lot of stories, very engaging, and so I kind of want to turn that into like kind of like a series. Like, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I kind of want to turn that into a series, like a Bible series where it's depicted and people can see it. And like I feel like that'll reach more people because not everybody wants to read the Bible, which you really should. You should read the Bible. It's God's word. But I feel like if I can put it in a movie form first, it'll make people want to go back and be like, "Oh, is this actually true? Let me look in the Bible and see." It'll actually reach people like that. So I really want to do that.
Like people have done that before though. Like, you see Bible movies, you see series, and me personally, I stray away from those because they tend to be inaccurate. They tend to miss important facts.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I stay away from those. My grandfather, he told me about, I think it's a series called Chosen. It was a crowd-funded film series, which is basically means they made a GoFundMe and people fund
Yeah.
people paid money for them to make that show. And my grandfather said it's seven seasons and it's very accurate. But how would you set your film apart from these regular films that just have like a white Jesus and people dressed in robes?
First of all, that would be the first thing. Jesus was not white. Jesus was not white. They would not be white. They would just be the color of their skin. Like I would really figure that out because they weren't white. They were Arab. They were, closer to darker. They were darker skinned people in the Bible. They weren't white. So
Yeah,
first
like
that,
Samson.
getting that accurate, not getting the because that's propaganda. Like not getting the propaganda out, getting the subjectivity out of it, and just stuff like that.
Yeah, like someone like Samson, like Samson was black. That man had
Yeah,
dreads.
it literally said in the Bible the 7 locks of his hair. And so like I'm reading stuff like that and it's like, how are we depicting these people as white? It said 7 locks. It said King David was ruddy and handsome. Ruddy people with ruddy skin, it means like red skin kind of. Red skinned people aren't white. What are we talking about right now? So it's
Yeah.
it's definitely an agenda. So there's no agenda with me. I'm just serving God. That's it. That's what God wants me to do. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it His way. That's what's going to set me apart.
Like, what do you think about like making the Bible but in modern society? So like, let's say you take the nation of Israel, you make that like the nation of somewhere local, just to
Mhm.
like make it more modernized, just to like connect with like the younger audience, the modern audience.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I ain't gonna play with God's word like that. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't
I
gonna lie.
respect that.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna play with it.
I respect that. All right. So since you're talking about Christian films, would you consider doing Christian music?
Believe it or not, I want to do a gospel album. I do want to do a
Oh, wait,
gospel.
okay, hold on. You said gospel, but I've been told gospel is a specific genre. Like gospel is the music they sing at the church with the church ladies and choir. And then like you got like Christian artists out there that are like singing about Christian stuff. Like who am I thinking of? Like there's someone named Halvey. I don't know if he's considered a rapper, but I consider like one of those pop R&B rap mix of
No, 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 no.
artists.
I want to get a choir. I want to get like
Oh, you talking like
yeah,
Sunday
because
service type.
yeah,
Okay.
I want to get like a choir. Like I'm in like gospel choir right now. So yeah, I want to get like a choir, do a gospel album, like a Fred Hammond album, something like
Okay.
that. Like Love
Okay.
Unstoppable
Okay.
album. I love that album.
Where in your discography would that go? Like between now and let's say those 10 years like we mentioned, where would that happen?
So we have. I really don't know. Do I want to name drop all my albums right now?
No, don't do that.
I kind of want to, so when I blow, people gonna go back to this pod. They're gonna be like, "Yup, he called it, y'all. He called it." But no, I'm not gonna name drop. So we got the love story. I don't know. I feel like it'll go. So those 6 albums are like non gospel. I kind of want to make those at the end. So I want to make a gospel album. I want to do a Christmas album too. So the gospel albums will kind of be like on the tail end. At
Christmas
least,
albums.
yeah, I want to do a Christmas album.
I've never I never heard that. Dang, that's interesting. Would you make that like a church music type, like a gospel Christmas album?
It will kind of be a little bit of both. Mm. See, that's gonna be a tough one because it'll probably be both. I have a whole vision for that too, how I want to do that. I want that to be like an annual thing too. So yeah, I want to do a Christmas album. I think it would kind of be both because I want like also carol songs on there, and yeah, I also want like gospel Christmas songs too.
You said annual. You mean like you gonna drop a Christmas album every year?
No, 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 no. So like it'll be a show televised. And I want that
Oh,
to be like
oh,
annual,
okay.
yeah, like an annual thing. Like everybody's, with their families, turn on that RG Christmas show or whatever it's gonna be called, and just it is what it is.
All right then.
Yeah, lots of visions over here.
That's crazy. Well, I'm out of questions. Uh, anything you want to talk about in particular?
Um, Not necessarily just stay on your path, honestly. Just all I gotta say is just stay on your path. Do what's for you. I feel like we're at this point in the world where everybody's just doing. I kind of talked about this on my TikTok, one of the videos I'm gonna post soon. Like nobody thinks for themselves anymore. Everybody's doing what other people think. Everybody's everybody's going in fields where other people are and doing things that aren't for them, that aren't their purpose. I'd say just self-discover and find your purpose, and then God will give you your vision.
Bar, bar,
Bar, bar, snaps.
it's a bar. So go and tell the people when's the next time we can expect RG to drop a piece of music?
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. RG is probably not gonna release for the rest of 2023.
Well, you done released two pieces of work already this year.
Yeah, it was. I say it was a good year for learning, good year for improvement. But RG will
Yeah,
not be releasing anything. But hey, you can look for something early next year, early 2024.
right then. Going to wrap it up there.
Yeah,
Appreciate you for being here.
for
Really,
sure.
really,
Appreciate
really
appreciate you for
appreciate
having
you.
me on the pod, bro.
No
I've been wanting to
problem.
be on the pod for a minute, for sure.
No problem. It's the first of many virtual collaborations.
Absolutely.
Did my first one last month, something like that.
Hmm.
Got a whole lot more virtual ones lined up. So this is a good one.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Thanks to anybody that tuned in and listened. Stream his music, Superstar Dreams and Summer Haze. And
So,
early next year, look out for something special. I got the inside scoop on what's coming next.
so do.
This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Hey, you can at Ross Gardner at Ross Gardner RG on all platforms. You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you listen to music to at Ross Gardner. Shout out Nate. Shout out to Imperfect Pod, man. Love what you're doing, bro.
Appreciate it. Again, thank y'all for coming. See y'all next time.